Welcome to today's episode of the AI Trailblazer podcast. Today we have a very exciting guest. He is none other than Ash, the founder and CEO at SeniorLife.AI. So Ash, it's a great pleasure to have you here with us today. Yeah, let's start off with your background and what led you to start SeniorLife.AI.
Sure. Thank you for having me here, Bruce. And I'm excited to share the journey until now. But as you know, it's a mountain we keep climbing, right? So so I spent about 6 years in building a company in Japan that is now it's called LiveSmart, LiveSmart .co.jp. And that became the second largest smart home company in Japan over time. And we provide three things. We provide a home ambience solution that's kind of like a Nest or a Honeywell, energy management. But we also have a small business there that catered to seniors, older adults, monitoring older adults. And since we sell it through business customers in their brands, these are real estate developers as well as utilities, they sell the solutions, monitoring solutions. For example, a sensor is monitoring the activity of a senior, whether the person is going to the toilet twice in 1 minute. So maybe he has Alzheimer's. Is he using his microwave every day? So that's okay. If not, perhaps alert the caregiver and so on. Through that process, some of our customers came to us and said, monitoring is great, but if we find somebody has fallen down after the fact, it's already too late. Can you provide, you build a system that can look at these seniors? These are pre-frail, sometimes frail, and assess their risk of falling. So that's the first problem. The second problem we also like to know, if you can't do it, is assess their risk of Alzheimer's, dementia. So those are the two problems that were given to us by customers. And so that's when I decided, okay, it looks pretty promising, but I can't do it being CEO of two companies. So I stepped down as the CEO of LibSmart, which is a lot of blue chip investors, customers, and I'm still the largest shareholder. But so we started building this company called SeniorLife.AI. And the mission of SeniorLife.AI is only one single mission, which is age smarter, which means you will grow your age, you're going to get older chronologically. That means timely. With time just makes you older. But can I slow down your biological age? Can I help you slow down your biological age? So if you started at 50 and you become 70 20 years later, can you still be 60-year-old, both mentally and physically? That's kind of our journey. And that journey just got started. And we were tackling two big problems. First problem we want to tackle is mobility issues. As you get older, your mobility issues pop up from everywhere, from your knee to your hip to your joints to everything. And it depends on what kind of activities did through your life and your weight, your lifestyle, many, many things. And the second thing is your brain cells become fewer and fewer, so you start having memory problems. So for the first one, we built a solution first in Japan, and then we rolled it out in the US. That now is, we believe, is the world's most exhaustive list of diagnostic tools, software-based, computer vision-based diagnostic tools that can analyze mobility risks, essentially targeting risk of fall, and also come out with a set of personalized recommendations that will help you to address those risks, and is FDA certified, class 2. And then we went on to tackle a second problem, which is Alzheimer's. The thing with Alzheimer's is once Alzheimer's is detected, it's just late. You can't do much about it. It's just mitigation care. So what we wanted to do is see if we can detect the risk of Alzheimer's early on. And there are many ways you can potentially do it, and all of them are related to biomarkers. But most of the biomarkers have to do with taking your blood sample and testing it, right? And it could be expensive and you may not do it. But there is a biomarker uh, that is gaze based, but you have to watch it really in milliseconds, that can detect risk of Alzheimer's 7 to 15 years before it starts, before you start having memory issues. So we were able to do that. So while the mobility model is trained with a lot of data, the Alzheimer's gaze biomarker model is not trained, but it's released and it's being used by dementia clinics and so on, where we're collecting label data and training it. So those are our two basic products that diagnose and provide personalized recommendations as it relates to risk of fall and risk of Alzheimer's. We also have another product that we will release in the fall, and this product is a product we are training on Mayo Clinic's data. Mayo Clinic, as you might know, is the number one hospital in the world in top 10 out of 20 categories for 15 years. It's the oldest health system in the US. Literally, operation was invented here. So, a lot of surgical operations and so on. So, Mayo Clinic is a shareholder in the company as well. And we're training a the reason what we're doing with Mayo Clinic is we got a lot of feedback, again, feedback from customers. Feedback from customers, they said it's great that you can take a 20-second video and figure out if the person has mobility risk. And sure, and for Alzheimer's, you're watching their gaze. But what about identifying their risk without anything, without any video, just like a bunch of questions on iPad? And that would be fantastic because then people, a lot of older people, or adults who just don't even come to the wellness visit, we can push them to just take a simple questionnaire at home. And so that's what we're building with Mayo Clinic, which will allow us to identify, stratify the risk of fall of older adults through about 10 adaptive questions. This system is being trained on Mayo Clinic's EMR data right now. So that we will release as well in September. So we're excited. I think the most exciting part, if I can sum it up, is it's the tip of the iceberg. We're just learning how much you don't know
Right.
every day, every day.
Thank you for the very comprehensive sharing of your business as well as the main value proposition of a senior life AI helping the elderly to predict as well as manage their chronic conditions like Alzheimer's and being able to personalize how they want to respond to it. So now I would like to talk a bit about your role within the business. What are your main responsibilities as the founder and CEO? And then how does that fit into the bigger picture at Senior Life AI?
Yeah, excellent question. So I founded the first company, LiveSmart, and in LiveSmart, most of the stuff I kind of understood. Yeah, I'm an engineer from Indian Institute of Technology. I have a technical background. I got a big degree in business from Wharton School. So I could do a bunch of things. I could look at a bunch of things, even if I'm not responsible for everything. But as it comes to healthcare, I was a third grader when it came to clinical science when we started building it. So, yes, I understood how to build a computer vision model, how to analyze things, but I didn't have the expertise as it relates to clinical science. So, to answer your question, what do I do and where do other team members fill in? So, we're all trying to do the same thing at the end of the day is help the end customer, which is the senior, age smarter. That's all we're trying to do. To do that, whether we go through our customers' senior living, or we go through providers, or we go through payers that actually provide the service. My goal and responsibility is to build fantastic products. My responsibility is to, of course, as a CEO, I'm always evangelizing because this is very new. I'm also recruiting. I'm also talking to the investors, but we have team that are customer interfacing. We have team two very senior people that are physicians, expert physicians that have been in the industry for more than 30, 40 years, including one who is a renowned geriatrician in the US. And we also have similar partnership in Japan. Those are clinicians, and that is absolutely essential for any company in healthcare space to excel because you need to have that clinical expertise. So I fill in the product side, I fill in everything else that falls through the crack except the clinical side.
Got it. Let's talk a bit about your goals for Senior Life AI. Where do you want it to be within the next 6 to 12 months?
6 to 12 months, very interesting question. I'll give you 12 months goal and a 5 year goal, right? So a 12 months goal is we're not looking at revenue. We have customers, but we're looking only thing that we're looking at is adoption. We want our end users meaning seniors, or sometimes frail people who are recovering from surgery. They also need that. They kind of are like seniors to be using this, whether it's through, and that is through many customer channels, through clinics, through senior living, through assisted living, through memory care. or hospital system and so on, or annual wellness visit. But we want up to 65 million people in the US. We want 3 to 4 million people adopting our solution, 65 million seniors. So that's our 12 months goal. And to do that, you go through many channel partners, direct relationships, and so on. In 5 years' time, we think we will be in a position where we can convince at least half of the insurance companies and the Medicare to adopt our solution as the standard of preventative care for dementia and for risk of fall. Alzheimer costs $350 billion to the US healthcare system. Falls cost about $60 billion to the US health system. So two big categories. We want to be the standard of preventative care. Standard of preventative care means you identify the risk, you diagnose the problem, you recommend the solution, you also guide the patient through how to achieve the outcome and check and help them fix it. The whole scale.
Okay, got it. So I want to touch a bit more on your 12-month goal. You say you want to increase the adoption to about 3 to 4 million senior people using your product. And then you said that you rely on direct channels, channel partnerships right now. So what would you say is your plan to get to this adoption goal?
Yeah, so excellent question. So how does a healthcare services like ours, for example, reach the senior, right? Or a person recovering from a surgery or something. So if you look at that, it reaches them through a senior living company that is taking care of them. It reaches them through hospitals. It reaches them through wellness visits. We can't go after all of them directly. We can't go after all the clinics directly. And so what we have decided to do is first focus on the low-hanging fruits. And the low-hanging fruits, in our case, on the provider side, people who are taking care of seniors for annual wellness visit, are concierge care clinics. So these are clinics that people who are very conscious, health conscious, they pay in addition to their insurance. And there are 4,000, 5,000 of them in the US. We're going after one of those categories. We're also going after the brokers. These are brokers that will bring customers to Medicare Advantage plans, seniors to enroll, the brokers that will bring customers to senior living entities. So these are like sales channels for insurance companies, sales channels for senior living companies. And these sales channels, these brokers want to screen the senior and identify the risks before they become a member at an member at an insurance company, or before they become a resident at a senior living place. So they have a very defined purpose, and the concierge care clinics have a very defined purpose. So those are the two big groups we are going after as markets. In addition to that, we have 4 or 5 very large healthcare entities in the US that are looking to add our app inside their app, right? So, like a health system, for example, I'm going to name one that is not in the discussion. For example, United Health, not in the discussion, right? If United Health is an app, and then our module would be inside their app, right?
I see.
It'll have lab test, this, that, all of the stuff, and it'll pop up and say, "Hey, Ash, have you done your annual wellness visit?" Or, "Hey, Ash, we noticed from your records you might have a heightened risk of this. Can you take a 20-second video and upload it? We'll tell you exactly what the problem is." So it can be self-administered by the patient. So again, to summarize, 3 groups: big healthcare system, few of them, there's a direct try to be on their app. And then there are 2 other large groups that are channels. One is concierge care clinics, another is insurance brokers. Medicare Advantage insurance is in the US is $800 billion every year. Twice Medicare to these Medicare Advantage plans. So big pockets. Yeah, so we're seeing a lot of inbound. So that's what excites us. We need to take act now.
Yeah, got it. Thanks for the helpful context and perspective. So when it comes to evaluating these different channels from the concierge care providers to, insurance providers as well, what sort of matrix do you look for to think that it's a successful, marketing or partnership channel?
Just two. One is their scale, how many they're serving. So even if it's a great company, but serving a very small market or very small zone, it's not, we can't grow scale, right? So that's number one. Do they have the scale, right? How many customers are they bringing to the insurance companies, or how many seniors are their patients? You know, if it's a concierge care clinic. So that's one. And the second part is we're looking is speed to adoption. How they make the decision in adoption. Do they go through a 1 year evaluation, this, that, and how will they decide, and then all that stuff? Or are they willing to adopt really fast? And we are taking down the cost hurdle right away. We're just saying, try it out, free for you. If it works, we'll share the risk.
Nice.
We'll share the reward, not share the risk. Yeah, we'll share the reward. Yeah. So we are we're looking for customers that are willing to adapt really fast and without very little cost and very little change to their workflow. And we're looking for companies that have scale.
Got it. Yeah, that makes sense. Then, in terms of the marketing channels, because these are mostly the direct channels or partnerships, right? How do you, and I understand most of the interest at this point has been inbound, but how have they been reaching you? Was it through channels like LinkedIn?
Yeah, exactly. So email was absolutely disaster. So we tried that last year. So you'll send out emails. So it's become even worse because now both Outlook and Google Mail system filter it out and you put it somewhere that people don't even look at it. They don't even know that it reached you. And a lot of people are not looking at emails anymore that closely. So what we found is LinkedIn has become a very effective tool, but we just have to be careful. I think if you go at everybody in a very like a MailChimp kind of campaign, then even LinkedIn would stop you. But we find LinkedIn to be very interesting. The second part we found to be very interesting is we don't do any advertisement or anything, is podcast.
Most
So I've
podcast.
been, yes, podcast is very good because podcast, if it gets out with the right sort of links, tags, and videos, it can become very viral and it gives a very good insight to how the company is doing in 30 minutes. So we think those are two big channels, and yeah, podcast and LinkedIn.
Okay, interesting. Yeah, now I would like to touch a bit on some of the main bottlenecks or obstacles that you have faced while growing a senior life AI. What have been the biggest ones that have stand out to you?
So there are two big bottlenecks, I think, for us. One is the first one is when the customer really likes your product but doesn't buy and doesn't write a check. That means typically you have done something wrong, meaning we have done something wrong, right? That's our assumption. So we found in the early stages, we built a great product for diagnosis, but it's not an end-to-end product. It doesn't solve the complete problem. It might identify the problem, but how do you solve the problem after you've identified? So adding more features that actually changes the outcome for the end customer, which means our feature issues. So that was one bottleneck, making don't make assumptions that you know what the customer really needs. And every CEO makes those assumptions because they fall in love with their own product, even if they keep reminding themselves they shouldn't. So that's one thing. The second thing we haven't solved yet, and it'll never be solved, is finding the right people. Because the we were in pick up AI. AI is solving a lot of infrastructure problems, logistics problems, engineering coding problem, but sales, not marketing. Marketing is can be a sales is still people to people, right? And not consumer sales. I'm talking about business sales, right?
B2B
It's people
sales.
to people, and it's not. You can't drive it with AI. You have to drive with the right people, and getting the right people is just very luck. Just luck. Even if you're a great company. We did that in Japan. We are looking for our chief revenue officer in the US. We have a lot of partnerships and so on, but that is my single biggest bottleneck that I haven't solved yet, which is getting the right person to lead our GTM. Our GTM effort goes on, but I want somebody
Got it.
that we haven't solved yet.
I see. Then what have been the steps you've been trying to take in order to overcome this constraint of being able to see the person as much?
So we have some very powerful angels. We have some customers who are also invest shareholders. Mayo Clinic is a shareholder. So we have enough credibility, enough reach, and I'm trying to get people to talk to many people as as I can through them. Another challenge, Bruce, you may or may not realize is so you when you build this company at that, especially at this stage, I need to have that person, you know, she or him or her in local, right? So I want somebody where we are, which is Bellevue, Washington, which is Greater Seattle, and that means and that again, it's not Boston, right, where a lot of healthcare companies are. It's not San Francisco, where or Bay Area, right? So finding people in this area is yeah, it's a challenge. You know, the right fit, right cultural fit, right background, the right attitude, right passion is just hard.
If you could expand a little bit more on it, why is it so important for you to find employees that work in the same location as you?
Not employees, just the chief revenue officer. A lot of our employees are remote, right? So our salesperson can be remote. Our engineering team is all remote. Some of the product team is remote, but the team that the chief revenue officer or the person who's going to be interfacing with customers and interfacing with us and just help take the company to the next stage. I think we need to sit down face to face and hash it out, right? And there will be so many iterations. And I don't think you can do these iterations over a Zoom call, right? You can do the Zoom call from time to time, that's fine, but the person needs to be a local. At least in my view, that's my working style. Some other people might be comfortable with that. I believe if you're building a company, you need to be 24/7. You need to be on. The team needs to be totally believe in what you're doing and what they're doing. It's a company we built together, so I think that person has to be local.
Yeah, that's an interesting perspective. So now let's touch a bit on the macro things that you're seeing. What have been the shifts or trends you're seeing in your industry right now, and then how is that impacting the growth of Senior Life?
It's great. It's great and nightmare at the same time. I'll give you three trends. The first trend is let's start from the top, which is the Trump administration. Trump administration came in and said, we don't have money. We have to cut down healthcare budget. Plain and simple, right? It started from Elon Musk, Doge team, and so on. So I think this might sound surprising to you. I think the healthcare industry will shrink because it grew so fast in the US. It grew so fast, so much. So I'll give you a simple example. I was in Japan, which is a developed country. Right? My kid was born there, uh, 9.5 years ago. Uh, After staying in the hospital she stayed in the hospital for 4 days. The total cost was about $7,000, including 3 days of hospital. No complications, nothing. Just stay there. In the US, if you have a baby in and out, it's $50,000. No complications.
For
Just simple
stimulation.
delivery. Just delivery, right? They do a bunch of tests before the delivery. They do a bunch of tests on the baby after the delivery and a bunch of tests on the mother, and then you're out. Why? That's because I think the insurance system is rigged, and the providers are unfortunate people. They don't get reimbursed all the time, so they bill more. So this whole you get prescribed more drugs than you need. You get prescribed more tests than you need. So the whole system has bloated for many reasons. I don't want to go through all the details. So that the cost for the same care, no complication, no complicated care, is 3 or 4 times. So you already know about the drug costs. So where am I going with this? So Trump administration has made it a point. We will bring down the cost of healthcare. We don't care. We don't have money. What happens with that? Two things. They can't deny care for Ash or Bruce who is obese and once needs Ozempic, for example. They just cannot deny it. So they won't be denying claims for the people who are already just need care. But they're going after a segment that doesn't yet need the care, which is 45 to 70 years olds, and pushing prevention very hard in that direction. Figure out self administration, figure out what's your problem, and take care of early on so that you don't get hospitalized, so that you don't get diabetes, so that you don't get all of these problems later on, which are very expensive. So you're seeing even Mayo Clinic is pushing care to home, even Mayo Clinic, which is a hospital system. So that's one thing that's going on in on the uh, costs in the economic side. Costs are going to be compressed because government is not going to reimburse. It's good for us, a good tailwind for us, because people are going to start looking at how do you prevent as opposed to take care of them afterwards after they're sick. The second thing that's going on in the US is artificial intelligence. The rate of adoption of artificial intelligence in most industries, let's say technology and others, have been really fast, but not in healthcare. But it's just getting started. And that's going to be super scary for many people. I'll give you a simple example. Microsoft, uh, 2 months ago, let's say, published a report. And what they did is they took GPT-4. Okay. They took GPT-4 and then they gave 21 different cases. You can look it up on the web. 21 different cases. So Bruce Wong has this condition. So the LLM has to look at him, prescribe something. And then after prescription, Bruce Wong goes out and does something. And then they go back and check Bruce Wong like a physician would do it. The 21 cases. And they also gave the same cases to physicians in the UK and in the US. It's a Harvard study, I believe. Not Harvard. It's a very prestigious journal study. Found the physicians, real life physicians, were able to solve 20% of the time, whereas AI was able to solve the cases 80% of the time, 4-1. This is a very well published report. So that means you're talking about going after the sacred, don't like the thing that people don't want to touch, which is only the clinicians know how to diagnose, how to treat, and so on, right? Because until now, AI has been solving financial, accounting, billing, even note taking, right? But now AI will come after diagnosis. It's coming, creeping in. So that what happens with that?
Is it as accurate as the
Yeah, yeah.
physicians or the doctor's
That's
diagnosis?
the
Or
whole point. That's the whole point. It was over 6 to 9 months. This is a study published by one of the most prestigious journals and Microsoft. So in over a long period of time. So this is not like somebody just claiming it. This is the whole data is there. So what happens? I have no idea what happens with regulations. I don't know. But the genie is out of the bottle. Pandora's box have been opened. It cannot be contained. How does it impact healthcare? I have no idea really. But it's quite an interesting time.
got it. Yeah, I
So
think
those are
that is
those are the kind of the two big things. I think you'll see in this year you won't have 2 years ago the issue was, yeah, I know AI is there, but I don't need to adopt. I don't need it right now. But I think in 25 and 26 you will see is how fast can I adapt and what should I adapt, by the way.
interesting. Yeah, I think that is a good way to end off the podcast conversation here. Once again, Ash, thank you for taking the time out to do this podcast, for sharing these valuable insights with our audience, not just when it comes to your product and how it helps, seniors to predict and manage their chronic diseases, but also the broader trends in the industry when it comes to the new political administration as well as AI and its impact on the healthcare industry. So again, a pleasure having you here today with us, and it was great chatting with you, Ash.
Thank you so much, Kate. I'm glad I was helpful and good luck to you. Bye bye.
Thank you. Cheers.